Hello and welcome everyone to yet another weekly walk in our weekly walk series. Very nice to see you all. My name is Desiree and today we're going to be dancing the last couple weeks of summer away as we highlight some of the spots in Central Park where you can catch some music and dancing. Very nice to see you and have you all as usual. And we are going to get started with our Dancing the Summer Away weekly walk on today, September 13th, 2023. Now let's get to our housekeeping. So we've got a couple of features on our Zoom taskbar on the bottom here. If you would like to ask a question, please use the Q&A feature. That is the only place where your question will get answered. If you would like to turn off the chat, use the arrow right beside that chat button and turn off the chat previews if you would not like to see the chat. And if you would like a live transcript, we also have that as well. Just click that arrow to enable it or to disable it. All right. And with that, let us get started dancing the summer away. And we know that our mission statement here at the Central Park Conservancy is to preserve and celebrate Central Park as a sanctuary from the paces and pressures of city life, enhancing the enjoyment and well-being for all. And that is especially with our theme this week, because you could definitely take off some stress and have some joy and enjoyment in your life if you catch any of these three spots. So we're going to be highlighting three different spots in the park today, one at the north end, one at mid park, and one at the south end of the park. So hopefully you will be able to attend some of these dancing activities and programming. All right, so we are starting our weekly walk today all the way at the north end of the park, a place I hold near and dear to my heart. It's the Data Discovery Center right at East 110th Street. I actually grew up in East Harlem / Barrio, so that's why it is actually my favorite, personal favorite part of Central Park. So let's get into it. So the first instance where we're going to be highlighting some dancing in Central Park is with the Central Parks Conservancy Harlem Meer Summer Festival, also known as the Harlem Meer Performance Festival. They are different titles, but the same thing. And the Central Park Conservancy has been running it for over 30 years. It sits right outside of the Dana Discovery Center Plaza, right in the middle of East Harlem / El Barrio, known as Spanish Harlem as well. And it highlights lots of different performers that actually come from this community. And it was hosted this year from July 15th to August 26th with new performers every single week. So although our programming for this year has concluded, we definitely want to put this on the map for y'all next year to definitely come out and attend. So here we have one of the groups of performers that you would see over various weeks over the course of our programming. Every single week, there's a different performer or a different style of music. So these performers that we're seeing here in the 2023 Harlem Meer Summer Festival are known as Harlem Sing. They are a gospel group taking us to church at this year's Harlem Meer Summer Festival. So essentially, we have different genres highlighted every week, from gospel to hip hop and salsa, a lot of different music that actually represents the community of El Barrio. So that is one of the performers we had this year. And also, even though the Harlem Meer Summer Festival has concluded for this year, there is a group of people who do salsa. So there's a group of locals, part of the Spanish Harlem community, who do salsa nights every Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday if the weather is permitting, and only during the summer, so only during the warm months. So definitely it takes place in the same area, the Dana Discovery Center Plaza. So definitely check out on either Thursday, Saturday, or Sunday to see if you could catch some salsa, and also maybe ask the folks there on how you could support their group, because although I didn't find a page or anything like that for them, I definitely know that they're there and they exist and they have a heavy presence in the community. But if you would like more information on the Harlem Meer Summer Festival, we're gonna post a link right now in the chat, giving you a little bit more information on our Harlem Meer Summer Festival going on for 30 years. So just a huge shout out to the groups that do salsa there every couple nights a week, right there in the middle of the community. So definitely, if you have a passion for salsa, maybe you could check them out and catch them there. But even though the community there does predominantly speak Spanish, specifically the salsa community, dancing is a language that anyone can understand. So right now we have a picture from our 2022 Harlem Meer Performance Festival, a youth hip hop group. Yes, so definitely very important. If you know any local artists or performers in that community, definitely keep that in mind for early 2024, because that is when our applications actually open for more performers for the Harlem Meer Summer Festival. So if you're not signed up to our newsletter, definitely check that out. But I definitely had to highlight the leader and the person who has taken charge of the Harlem Meer Summer Festival for the last 8 years, and that is Alan Wong. So Alan Wong has worked at the Conservancy for over a decade now, and he's oversaw the Harlem Meer Performance Festival for the last 8 years. So he's going to be the one that looks at all the applications. He's also the MC for the Harlem Meer Performance Festival. So if you were there, you definitely got to see him. And if you ever called the Public Programs Department or spoke to somebody from the Public Programs Department, it was most likely Alan. So there's a huge shout out to all the hard work that he does for our department and helping the local communities surrounding Central Park. Really great, and thank you for all that hard work that you do. So definitely sign up for our newsletter and make sure that you have programs and events selected so you can get more information when the applications for Harlem Meer Summer Festival actually open. So huge shout outs to Alan, and definitely check out the Harlem Meer Summer Festival next year if you can. And with that, we're going to be teleporting to our next spot in Central Park. This is going to be in the Mid-Park area around East 79th Street. So here we are going to be entering right at East 79th Street and continuing to our next spot where we could catch some dancing in Central Park. We're going to continue up this path right here, and we make it right next to what's known as Cedar Hill, a very scenic looking area that has lots of different cedar trees, excellent for picnics and other different activities of the like. We're going to be climbing up Cedar Hill to get to our next destination. And of course, we have to look both ways before we cross the street. And we are quickly approaching our next destination, a little fork in the road, but we are going to be taking this right path over here to get to our next site where we can catch some dancing in Central Park. So right now we are overlooking the destination in our sites, King Yagewo Plaza. So right here, we are definitely noticing some dancing festivities in full swing, might I add. So right here, we are at King Yagewo Plaza, where another group of dancers actually connect every single week during the summer. But let's take a second to see who or what this plaza is actually named after. Okay, so this is the statue of King Yagewo. He is the statue that overlooks the plaza. This is a statue of King Yagewo. The Polish sculptor, so sorry if I butcher this, Stanislaw Ostrowski, created the monument for the Polish Pavilion in the 1939 World's Fair in Queens. So the monument actually depicts a scene from the 1410 Battle of Grunwald, when the king received 2 swords that he's actually holding above his head there. He received 2 swords from his adversaries, the Teutonic Knights of the Cross. So now we have the nice King Yagewo no longer in Queens, but right here, right next to Turtle Pond in Central Park, for all of us to view its spectacle. It is definitely a very grand statue, towering so high up above us. So I definitely highly recommend checking out the statue of King Yagewo right next to Turtle Pond at King Yagewo Plaza. Now let's get back to those dancers. All right, so we could see on this nice summer evening. It is a Sunday night. So it's a Sunday night, beautiful summer evening, and we have some onlookers as well as participants looking at all the different dancers that are dancing all around this plaza. Let's take a bit of a closer look, but essentially every Sunday, this group known as Lindyland is gonna be here, weather permitting, during the summers. So as we can see, all different types of backgrounds, all different ages, appreciating specifically the art of swing dancing here. So we've got lots of different people enjoying some swing dancing, all different ages, all different backgrounds, here on a nice summer evening, Sunday night. That is when they gather. So here is a close-up of the group known as Lindyland, a virtual swing hub. And we are going to be posting the link in the chat if you would be inclined to also come to one of their festivities. They don't just do swing dancing, but I got to catch the swing dancing that happens here at Sunday nights. So they also offer things like bachata, tango, and samba. So if you're interested in any of that, also completely free, come as you are, show up, whatever. And you too can participate in a nice, beautiful summer evening of swing dancing, or maybe if they have a different style of dancing that day, like bachata, tango, or samba, they also sometimes offer free classes. So definitely check out the group known as Lindyland in the chat below, and hopefully you will get to participate on a nice summer evening yourself. But before we head out to our next area of the park, since we're right next to Turtle Pond, I had to say hi to our beautiful turtles. Did you know that most of the turtles that reside in Turtle Pond are technically invasive? They are known as red-eared sliders, as they are often commonly pet turtles. Just remember to never, ever feed any of the wildlife. Do not feed any wildlife in Central Park. They have everything they need. But all these different turtles that reside in Turtle Pond, that's of course why it gets its name. So shout out to all the turtles in Turtle Pond, looking very nice, and also all the wildlife in Central Park. And we have a nice scenic view of Turtle Pond before we end up in our next and final area of Central Park. That's going to be the south end of the park, looking extra scenic, gorgeous, and beautiful on this nice summer evening. So now here we go to the south end of the park, and that is going to be yet another place where you could catch some music and dancing in Central Park. So let's get to it. We're entering on East 69th Street, but we're going to be starting a little bit in the middle of the park. So here we are. We're coming across Balto, which you're going to come across if you enter at East 69th Street. And Balto is the hero sled dog, one of the most beloved statues in all of Central Park, because he essentially overnight brought a cure for a diphtheria outbreak. Balto is also the only figure who was there at his statue's commemoration. So shout out to Balto and all the beautiful doggos of Central Park. And we're gonna be going right through and right underneath Willowdale Arch, looking very scenic and nice, having these nice little seating areas that back in the day, lots of different folks would take a little nice seat right under Willowdale Arch and enjoy the views and people watch and what have you. So we are going to be continuing up this path over here to get to our next destination. I did find this very interesting rock on my travels with a plaque on it. It's very rare to see a plaque on a rock in Central Park, and usually that means that someone did something significant to help with the restoration of the landscape. So this plaque is going to be dedicated to Dee Dee and Oscar S. Schaefer, who helped the east landscape of the mall. So definitely a huge shout out to them, Dee Dee and Oscar S. Schaefer, who helped the restoration of the east landscape in the mall. And shout out to all our different donors and members and anybody who chooses to support the Conservancy. And upon my travels, we're continuing up the path. Yes, we're seeing some more wildlife. A nice little squirrel enjoying a little afternoon snack. But remember, do not feed the wildlife. They have everything that they could ever need, just like this squirrel here who's chomping on a nice little nut. So this nice reminder, do not feed the wildlife, doing them a disservice. All right, so here we are on a path, the formal landscape of Central Park that is known as the mall. Now, this is going to be the only intentional straight path in all of Central Park. And it has, as we can see, lots of lots of foot traffic. So this path gets lots of foot traffic, and it has various things such as vendors and street performers all taking space up on the mall. So it is a very busy area. So honestly, on any day of the week, you should catch some music or street performers all up and down the mall's landscape. Excuse me. So this is one of the most iconic spaces in all of Central Park, lined with a row of elm trees. And essentially, if anyone was wondering, yes, street performers and performances aren't allowed anywhere in Central Park. However, the rules on the books are no amplified sound. Again, that's a rule on the books, not saying is actually followed. But yeah, so definitely check out the mall's landscape if you would like to see any type of music or different dancing. There's also some type of group who does tango who meets at the mall on Saturdays. So definitely check out the mall's landscape any day of the week to catch some music and hopefully dancing. So we're going to be cutting straight across the mall to get to our next destination to see a glimpse of some dancing. All right, so there we are. We're going to be cutting straight across the mall until we get to our next destination. And here we are on a road that is known as Dead Road. And that's just because the road is no longer in service. So this road is no longer in service. And it's also sometimes referred to as Skaters Road. And we're going to find out why in just a few moments. And I just had to pass by the very busy on this nice summer evening / afternoon Sheep Meadow. Shout out to Sheep Meadow, beautiful pastoral landscape we have here in Central Park, where you could also probably catch some music and dancing. All right, so we are quickly approaching our final destination for today at the end of Dead Road or Skaters Road. So right beside this statue right here, that's going to be your landmark, and that's going to be where you need to be if you want to catch some dancing in Central Park, because we are right next to beautiful roller skating. Roller skaters, I know you're thinking, well, that's not dancing, but you would actually be wrong in this case, because if you guys know anything about Central Park and its history, you would know all about the dance skaters, right? So this is going to be where the dance skaters reside every single weekend if the weather permits, or if there's not an event going on this specific roadway. You're going to see these dance skaters all the way from the spring until the late fall, of course, if weather is permitting. So let's get some more information on this very famous group. So this is the Central Park Dance Skaters Association. And it says they've been rolling in the park since 1995. However, they have a long history and standing with Central Park because they have actually resided here ever since the 70s. So lots of these different folks that still participate in the Central Park Dance Skaters Association, they are staples of the community. They have seen the park grow and change and evolve. They've seen so many different things, and they have lots of different knowledge, insights, and background on all these different changes that have happened through the park for many years. As we can see, it says you can join them most weekends, April through October. So that is a very significant time, and you could still catch them this day. We're gonna have some information, of course, of the Central Park Dance Skaters, a link in the chat. They've gotten a lot more, I would say, organized. In the past years, they have these barricades blocking off anybody who is not skating or any other foot traffic. But they have social media pages as well. And as you can see, they also have some QR codes. Not sure if that, hopefully it'll work. If you hold your phone up to the screen, your camera, you could find out more information. Excuse me. Or consider donating. Consider donating. So as I was walking along, definitely I was enjoying all the different sights and sounds from these glorious dance skaters. There's a lot to see, a lot to take in, a lot to hear, and just good vibes all around. Amazing vibes, actually. So just know if you do come out just to view the dance skaters, maybe not participate just yet, you won't be alone, because there's actually lots of different onlookers and people who come just to view all the beautiful festivities, all the joy going on, and also just to enjoy the music, because they have a DJ there every single weekend. On Saturday and Sunday, there will be a different DJ there playing varieties of different music, things from disco to house music, and etc. So yeah, and here we have my favorite picture that I took during this dance skating session. We're taking in the views, we're taking in the music, and we're taking in the fashion. I know we just had a fashion in Central Park weekly walk last week, but I had to highlight some fashion that I noticed right here. This person with the I Heart Hot Mom shirt, very iconic, brought me a lot of happiness and joy when seeing it. But everyone in this organization is so friendly. They are so friendly, because when I was walking around taking my pictures, I had one of the people from the organization actually hand me this flyer, which gives us a little bit more information. Yes, their DJs spin the classics, house, hip hop, and just music that is great for skating. So again, we're gonna have a link in the chat, or you could put your phone up to the screen, your camera, and scan that QR code for more information about this beautiful organization that holds so much history here. I also did a weekly walk last year on roller skating in Central Park. I got to speak with a couple of the folks who have been with the organization for years and years, and they talked to me a lot about the changes, the differences, and how they got to be where they are today, and a lot more formal and organized of a setting, having their own barriers and barricades and their own organization. So they've definitely evolved over the years, and they're very welcoming. Like I said, the person that handed me this invited me to come with my skates next week. So maybe this is something that you could put on your bucket list, that I'll put on my bucket list for the future. But definitely check out the Central Park Dance Skaters Association. And here's a couple rules just to keep in mind. If you're under the age of 14, you need to wear a helmet. Very important. This is for all ages, all right? All of the things that I've showed displayed today are for all ages, for families. And as you can see, it says that this area is reserved for the dance skaters in the main rink area. So just make sure you're not having any alcohol, any smoking, no glass, and make sure to pick up your trash. All these things, very normal park rules if you would like to attend that dance skating session. But the day that I actually attended, this is the DJ booth, a very professional looking setup, DJ booth right here. The day that I actually attended, it was one of the members' birthdays, one of the former organization leaders' birthdays. So essentially, it was this gentleman's birthday. His name is Tyrone, and he has been a fixture in the Central Park Dance Skaters Association because he was a former leader of that Dance Skaters Association. So we're seeing a nice little celebration of his birthday on this beautiful summer evening. So definitely check out Dead Road. It sits right next to the mall, all right? On any of the weekends during the warm months from April to October to check out this legendary, iconic group of folks known as the Central Park Dance Skaters Association, all right? So I was just going to end our weekly walk on this picture right here of the mall. On the same day, this was also on a Sunday, I believe. And essentially, you can see there's lots of people and lots of instruments. Lots of people, lots of instruments. You can see drums. I saw another circle of folks that had instruments that were labeled. They were from Haiti. So during the weekend, your best chance to catch any type of dancing in Central Park, you gotta head to the mall, the south end of the park. There's so much music, so much dancing, and so much joy. So I highly recommend checking out the mall on any of these last warm weeks that we have to enjoy our last couple weeks of summer. So as usual, I would like to thank you all for supporting the Conservancy and supporting us here at Public Programs. I have no tours to promote for this week. However, again, check out that newsletter. Check out our newsletter and make sure you have programs and public events checked off so you can find out more information about our new tour offerings, our new events, and our new programming. Like, for example, we at Public Programs, the next event that we're rearing up for is Halloween on the Harlem Meer. The only way to find out more information on that is if you sign up for our newsletter. So thank you for enjoying a nice little summer walk with me, Desiree, here at the Central Park Conservancy at Public Programs. It's very nice to see you all and very nice to meet you all. The couple people I'm meeting in person, shout out to those people who I've met in person, who have viewed our weekly walks and continue to support us. So just thank you all for joining us this week. All right, stay safe and be well. Enjoy the rest of your summer. I'm gonna see y'all in a season from now when it's a little bit colder. Take it in while we're still here. No, just kidding. But yes, very nice to see y'all. Stay safe, be well, and goodbye for now.